Wow. I look so legit. Look at all these books behind me. I am learned. I am a scholar. Yes. It's giving. Hi. Hello. I'm in a room full of books so that I give off the impression that I'm smart and I'm educated and I'm learned and I'm culturally rich. I haven't touched any of the books behind me, but that's not important. But I look smart, so that's all that matters. Anyway, how have you guys been? It's been a hot minute. I'm not gonna act like I haven't been posting inconsistently. No, I'll face it, because this is called Uncomfortable Truths, and I'm really good at A, being uncomfortable, and B, making people uncomfortable. You guys don't know how much I make myself uncomfortable sometimes. It's a lot. And yeah, I'm gonna confront it. I'm doing like a lot more than I used to right now. And honestly, here's the thing. I'm entering new places in life and I'm like doing things that require seeing more people in the day. And well, it's been a test so far. People have been testing me and my patience and everything that is there to exist. Am I okay? Like, I guess for the most part, I'm okay. But I mean, this is why I'm making these videos, because I'm dealing with more people than usual, and I'm not used to that. And when you deal with a lot of people all the time, you need to kind of build a way in which you communicate with people. I wouldn't say effortlessly, but in an effective way. Okay? Because here's the thing. People are different. It's what they teach you in kindergarten. People come in different colors and shapes and sizes. People are like, no, I'm not going to try and come up with an analogy. My brain can only do so much. But people, there are a lot of different kinds of people. Crazy, I know. I bet you didn't know that. And so it's important to know how to deal with people. But that's not what today is about. Today is actually about the worth of people. Who people really are and what they mean and how you should see people, how you should perceive people in front of you. Obviously, this is coming from the Islamic lens, because what this entire channel, what this podcast is about, is taking in everyday conversations and everyday topics and the things that we encounter in our day-to-day lives, and then seeing them from the Quran's perspective, seeing them from the perspective of the ahadith, the narrations of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because that's, the way a Muslim should live, and a lot of the topics that I talk about in my podcast have to do with self-improvement, being better, bettering oneself, but it's all self-improvement, oneself, self-involvement. It's like it all goes back to the self. So today I wanted to take an episode and, let us not talk about ourselves. It's going to be hard to do, but I'm going to try. Okay? But because really I am starting to come to understand that there is a certain way of thinking when we are dealing with people in our day-to-day lives. Like, we can't just treat people the way we treat them in whatever. Like, there is really a lot of emphasis placed on how we should treat people, and as Muslims, that goes a long way. Like, it's really important. It goes back to akhlaq. It goes back to morality and character. It goes back to all of these heavy topics. Like, these topics are not light, and morality and all of these things, al-akhlaq of the Muslim, are like such a fundamental part in the Quran. The Quran talks about it so much. Like, it doesn't talk about rulings as much as it talks about being a good person, doing good things, being a good impact in the world, leaving a good mark before you leave. Because that's really what is important, And one thing that I love about Islam is that you can take any topic, anything, any ruling, whatever it may be, and you'll notice that if you take anything and you apply it to the extreme, let's say, applicable and realistic maxim, like if every person were to do this thing that was an obligation, or that is, prescribed, or is, beneficial, or marked as beneficial, for our sake, you would notice that the world would be at peace. The world would be okay. Okay, but because we're not, and especially the things that are like preferred, when we see something that's preferable but not an obligation, we're like, oh, but it's not like necessary. It's not like written in stone. We don't have to do it. But if it's in the Quran or it's in the Hadith and it's something that is said that is beneficial for you, but you don't know the exact reason why, just do it. Don't even think, yeah, but no, you just do it. Because there is such a wisdom behind every single thing in the Quran. And like I said, if you take it to the realistic and applicable maxim, and if everyone were to do it, there would be like no problem on earth. Almost none. Almost. I said almost because that's not what the world here is for. This is not what, this world is not for no problems. This world is for the problems, to go to the world with no problems later. But that's later. That's like not now. So we got to be patient. We got to stick it through. But today, I want to talk about how to be a good person. It's not that hard, guys. This idea came to me when, okay, this is going to sound like a petty story, but it's not. It's just something that sparked this idea in my head. We were in this cubicle, because we were going from country to country, like on a road trip, and we were in like the border. We were crossing the border, right? And we had to give our passports and everything, and we were about to exit. And then to exit, we had to like kind of join this line of cars that were going forward, right? And so we were about to exit and join this line, but in order to do that, you have to go in front of someone, at some point. And so my mom was like gesturing to the girl that was like a little bit behind us, like, can we go in front of you, please? Otherwise, we will not be going out, right? And she didn't really have a good response. She was just like, no, like, don't. And I get it. But it was just so weird. Because I'm so used to thinking that all people are good. And I like to have this hope. I don't like to have the pessimistic mindset or like this negative mindset that people are bad, people are selfish, people are that. That is, in a way, I get why some people think like that. I understand where that line of reasoning is coming from. But I don't like to think that way. Otherwise, I think and I feel that I'm going to attract those kinds of people. If I think all the time there are negative people in the world, I'm going to have a lot of negative people in my life. So I don't think that. I think that people are good. People have good. People can do good. And I'm literally attracting these kinds of people. I'm attracting some of the most beautiful people that I've ever seen in my life. And some people are starting to turn beautiful. Like they're starting to progress and they're starting to become more beautiful, like inside. And it's like radiating outwards. And so that's why I like to have a positive mindset when it comes to this. Like, I don't like to think that people are bad. Now, going back to the story, I'm not saying that she's bad. There's no way that I'm going to say something like that, because you never know what someone's situation is or whatever it is, But it just got me thinking, like, okay, there is actual, like, I guess I wouldn't say ignorance, but there are some people that are a little bit lacking in this area that I think we can work on collectively. Because in the age of self-improvement, which is like in this age, I think we're so obsessed with self-improvement, and I hate the word self-improvement, but I'm going to use it because people understand what it is. But it's also self-oriented. And especially when you go to the Western world and you see how people are living, it's on a very individualistic level. They're not family oriented like, Arabs are used to, or Asians are used to. Like, that's not, Arabs are Asian, but you know what I mean. Now, I titled today's video very strategically, be good to people. Why did I pick good and not nice? Be nice to people. That's what your grandma tells you when there's a big gathering. Being nice can be a little bit surface level. Being nice is just to like, in Arabic, it's like يمشي الأمور. It gets things done. You know, it's like putting on a face for people or like a mask for people to like not have any awkward moments and then knowing that you're going to leave later and never see them again. That's being nice. And that's nice. Okay. And nice can have other meanings, but being good, like the word good, I think stems a lot deeper and there's a lot more meaning and purpose, you know, driving the wheel, holding the wheel, controlling the wheel. Okay, you get the analogy. But being good and goodness are like things that are much deeper than being nice. Being good encompasses all of these timeless traits, you know, traits that we were taught as young kids. Be honest, be compassionate, be gentle, don't raise your voice, don't give someone your back. These things stem in respect, you know, and not only respect for the person that you're talking with, but respect for yourself. Because fun fact, you can't really have respect for people if you don't have respect for yourself. Like if your respect for yourself is shaky, it's something that you still struggle with. Like when you're left alone to your own devices, when no one else is in the room, how do you talk to yourself? How do you think about yourself? What are your actions like? You know, these are the things that show if you have respect for yourself or not. And you can tell if you have respect for yourself or not. You know, you can lie to so many people, but it's kind of hard to lie to yourself because you are you. It's like really like you live with a truth inside your brain and you can't deny that. Otherwise, it will like actually be taxing on your brain. So you know if you have self-respect. And that's when you can have respect for other people. You know, and so that's what the goodness is. Goodness is really just respect. But then not just respect in treating people, but respect with regards to how you think of people. The people that you see every day, people in school, people at work, family members, people that you see at home every single day that you actually live with, you are supposed to think about them in a certain way and hold them in that respectful regard. Like, I get they're your family members, you know, and sometimes it's hard to take your brother seriously. I get it. But you actually need to have respect for them. You actually need to respect them. You actually have to have good character with them. That is something that I am working on, you know. But I digress. Now, there's another point to the goodness that I'm talking about. Be good to people. Being good to people does not mean letting people step over you. I think a lot of people misassociate those two things. Or I guess being nice to people. When you say be nice, it's like saying, you know, regardless of whatever. But being good is like, no, you have standards. You actually have, you know, boundaries set. You have your values. You are not, you know, you can't easily be manipulated and like taken from side to side. You know where you stand. That's what goodness is, you know. And one ayah in the Quran that I love and that talks about this, when people try and attempt to step over you, there's this ayah in the Quran in Surah Al-Furqan, in ayah 63, I believe, that says, وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ الَّذِينَ يَمْشُونَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ هَوْنًا وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. The true servants of the most compassionate are those who walk on the earth humbly, and when the foolish address them improperly, they only respond with peace. Salama is like a greeting. You know, in Arabic, when you say hello, you say Salamu alaikum, peace be upon you. I know we are so cute. That's how we say hello. There is no hello. There's only peace be upon you, you know? We only talk in peace, guys. Anyway, that goes to show that you do not give them the attention that they crave. Being good doesn't mean let people step over you. Being good means that you have your values and that you treat people the way that a human being deserves to be treated. And when they show you that they don't deserve that, you don't react. You don't care. You don't give them what they want. You say salam. You say peace be with you, and then you leave. Because you gave that respect. You met them at their baseline level. Because all human beings in the beginning, before you even encounter them, are equal. But it's how they treat you, how, they interact with you, what they say to you. All of these things is what kind of shapes them in your mind. More so the impression of a human being. In the beginning, it's all the same. That don't have these preconceived notions of a person. It's only when they actually let you know who they are, that's when you can actually have the impression in your brain. And that's when does this person actually deserve me talking to them? Does this person actually deserve me giving them this amount of respect? So if a person shows you that they actually don't deserve that baseline level amount of respect, you say, peace be with you. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna leave, And that's that. You don't do anything degrading. You don't say anything that's gonna make them feel bad. Cause why would you what is the point of doing that? You're not gonna say anything to try and take them down. Square up. What is the reason? Because that's just a reflection of them. The way that they are, if it is in a negative light, the way that they, spoke, or the way that they treated you, that's a reflection of them. You just say peace be with you and you leave. And that's not doing anything. That's not doing anything degrading to the person. It's not. If anything, it's like leaving them alone. Because you are a person too, and you have to take yourself out for your own peace and sake. Now, here's the thing. I made this episode a while back called Unfriend Them. And some people did not like that video. Honestly, me personally, with no biases at all, I really like that video. I still like that video. But I do see how some people could see it in a negative light. People thought I talked about people like they were disposable friends, as if they are just disposable objects that you can just get rid of. No, I fully acknowledge the fact that people, friends, all of the human beings around us are actual human beings. But at the end of the day, people forget they're also human beings. They themselves. I am a human being, guys. Hello. And so if someone mistreated me, I will just leave. Because I know that I'm a human being. I have a certain amount of worth. And I have self-respect. So I'm going to take myself out of the situation. So more than anything in this video, I think, I want to shed light on the perception of the human being in Islam. Because here's the thing. Before Islam, there was not much value placed on the human being. In the Middle Ages, no, actually a little bit before the Middle Ages, because Islam came about 600 AD, I believe. And so before that, people were burying their newborn baby girls because it was a shame to have a baby girl. And tribes would just come and kill people of another tribe because they wanted to show dominance. There were a lot of weird practices going on because people were basically led by their egos and their hunger for power and all of that. Now, all of this was taking place before Islam in the Arabian world. Okay, I hate admitting that because people are going to come for Arabs now. They're going to be like, oh my God, you guys used to be barbaric. Americans, baby girls, let's not talk about the transatlantic slave trade that took place in the 1700s, which was actually recently. Okay, we both had our dark moments. But that's not important. What's important is that Islam came and saved the day. Saved actually the entire century. Nay, saved the entire world for the rest of eternity. Why? Because it stressed the importance of human life. It was actually, guys, a human life is actually important. Fun fact, And nowadays, it feels a little bit backwards because there's things going on for capitalism that we're not even going to mention. Like the Uyghur Muslims and freaking Africa. What did I learn recently? I learned that there's a place in Africa where they use child labor and people, to mine something for iPhones. I forgot, okay, which is not really a good look for me right now. But I'm just saying, we have all of that going on, and then at the same time, the same people will go and stress the importance of animal life. Like, we will not be doing animal testing because that is harmful to the animals. What about the freaking human lives? Like, it blows my mind, the hypocrisy in the world, but like, it just goes to show how backwards life is without Islam. Because Islam stresses the importance of human life. It also stresses the importance of an animal's life. If a Muslim were to treat an animal badly and they did everything else well, they're not going to be okay. They're not good. They're not considered even near good. Because why would you treat an animal badly, poorly? There's importance of both, but a human life is a human life, guys. Okay? That's like number one. Yani that's like really important. And so Islam came and it cleared that up. And so it stresses the importance that we as human beings, we have a certain value, and that value can only ever be increased and leveled up by how good we are, by our goodness to each other, our goodness to ourselves, the good acts that we do, because for that to happen, it requires a good heart. When Allah said to the malaika, the angels, I'm going to make a vicegerent in this earth. I'm going to make, in Arabic is a khalifa. I'm going to make a khalifa in a place called earth. The angels were so confused. No, they were literally they were like, why would you do that? Like, because we have some evil in us. We're not angels. We're prone to evil, we're prone to good. But there is an essence of evil in us, And so the angels were so confused. They were like, why would you do that? Why would you put these people with free will in a place like earth where they actually need to care for it and care for each other and all of that? They're literally going to wreak havoc. They're going to destroy themselves. They're going to bring about their own destruction. That's what the angels said. Look, they did not have hope in us. I mean, like, not in a funny way, but like, they really did not. Or they just didn't understand the wisdom behind it. Allah said, I'm going to do it, and you guys don't know why, but there's wisdom behind it. I am the all-knowing. I know everything. I am the all-wise. Okay, you guys don't know, but I'm going to do this thing. And so here we are, okay, on this place called earth. And look at the prophets that came. Look at the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, described as a mercy to the worlds. That was a human being. Look at all of the scholars. Look at all of the people seeking to learn. Look at all of the people that are willing to give others what they have, and they don't have that much. Because people can be so beautiful. And you can literally see that. People can be so beautiful. And there's so much potential. And so there was wisdom in what Allah did, and we just don't know it. Because what makes a person out of the blue decide, I'm just going to give my money to a stranger because it's going to help them? There's goodness in people. I don't like sitting here and saying, no, people are bad. There's a lot of bad people in the world. Sure, you could take that argument and run with it. But then you need to understand that there's another side of the equation. That there is a lot of goodness in the world. And it's actually what keeps the world almost functioning properly. Because more goodness yields less corruption, more peace, more community and bonding within the people, amongst the people. And that is what Allah talked about so endlessly in the Quran. Is to be good to your neighbors, to be good to people, is to do good things. Now there's this hadith that perfectly sums up everything that I literally just said and I'm about to say. Ibn Abbas reported that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the best of you are those with the most excellent character and are careful with those around them. And the worst of you are the pompous, the braggarts, and the pretentious. Okay, the pompous, the braggarts, and pretentious. If you see the worst of you are, and you see the characteristics listed afterwards, you better make sure that you don't have any of them. But that's a topic for another day. Let's talk about the first half of this hadith, which is that the best of you are those with the most excellent character. Okay, but what else did he say? He said, and careful of those around them. That's really interesting, because being careful around people is like not really the trend today. I wouldn't say trend, but people aren't really careful anymore. They let things slip. They let things out. They're getting a little too comfortable. They're getting a little too chill. When we're in an argument or a discussion, or if someone's angry or you're angry and you let your emotions dictate how you behave in that situation, in that circumstance, you are not going to be careful. You're going to let a lot of things come out, and it's going to destroy and break a lot of things. But what's important is that between a situation and our response to it, there is a moment in time, in space and time. There is this, I would say it's kind of like a white room that's full of endless possibilities. Because all of these possibilities are how you could respond to someone, how you could beautify your response to someone, how you could take into account wisdom and be wise with your response to a specific situation. But we don't do that much today. We don't really think before we talk as much. We're not that careful. Your response to a certain person or situation or whatever it is, it requires that you be careful. Because, by the way, having wronged someone is not really a light topic in Islam. It's really a heavy deal. Because if a Muslim wronged another Muslim and they go on Yawm al-Qiyamah and they're faced with every person that they have wronged, they need to seek forgiveness from those people. They could seek forgiveness from Allah all they want. But then there's another person's feelings involved because they're also a human being. So if you wronged someone, it's actually not something that you can just go to Allah for. You actually have to consolidate the person. You have to ask for forgiveness. You have to sincerely apologize, because that's another human being. Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, takes into account every person's feelings, takes into account every human being's feelings, because they're all human beings. And so if a human being wrongs another human being, that's not going to slide. Because Allah is the most just. That's not going to be whatever. Because how a human being feels is not, a whatever matter. It actually means something. And Allah actually cares about that. To think that Allah, the creator of the universe, cares about how we feel. How I feel like that person wronged me today and it hurt me. And Allah knows. Allah will not forget that. Al-Latif al-Khabir, the most subtle and the most knowledgeable, the all-knowing, will not forget that that person hurt me on that day, in this specific hour, in this specific place. And it's up to me if I want to forgive them or not. But that never slides. And it goes vice versa if I hurt someone. Unless I go to them and I say, I'm actually really sorry that I did that. Would you forgive me? And it's up to the person if they want to forgive you or not. But wronging someone in Islam is a really major deal. So this hadith tells us to be careful. Because at the end of the day, we're dealing with human beings. And human beings are worth very much, in the eyes of Allah. And they're worth even more the closer we get to Allah. The better that we do, the more good that we do to the people around us. At the end of the day, Allah wants us to help each other. He didn't create us, all separately, just for all of us to go in our own way, do our own thing, and then leave. Allah created us in pairs. Allah made us a community. There's a reason that Allah did that, and there's so much wisdom behind it. And it's only until we understand the importance of being good to other people that we can start to become actual better Muslims, that we can actually start to get closer to Allah. Today was just like a light reminder. It's a light episode. I don't want to go too far, too deep into it. I wanted it to be just cutesy patootsy sized because I, just wanted to put this idea out there in the internet. On the internet, where being good is not really popular. It is what it is. Alhamdulillah ala kulli hal. I hope that this episode was useful to you, and I hope that you guys have an amazing day. I will see you in the next episode. Bye bye.